The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of salt from our tears, so get ready, nerds, because we're talking Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 5, Episode 16, The Body. Welcome, everybody, to our therapy session with Jude. Today, we're going to be talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 5, Episode 16, The Body, the most disturbing episode I've seen yet. I'm joined, as always, by my fantastic panel of nerds. Matt Vader. He's going to make fun of us the entire time.
You're a weak bitch.
Okay. Thank you, sir. How you doing today?
I'm good.
Good. And Jude.
He missed the part where we discovered the body.
Seen it before, like 20 years ago.
Oh, fuck you. Good morning.
A great start today. Matthew Kadish is also here. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I fully expect Jude to have broken up with me by the end of this discussion because I do not have kind things to say about this episode. So, and I know she loves it.
Oh, babe, I hear your mom calling. You better go get that.
All right. So without further ado, guys, if you want the entire discussion, head over to saltynerdclub.com, become a club member. Every month we're doing a new classic sci-fi stuff. This month, of course, we're doing Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And this episode, I've never seen it before. So this is a first watch for me. And this past two episodes, I've kind of been like, pleasantly surprised by how fun and kind of goofy Buffy the Vampire Slayer is. Because I was fully expecting like CW level camp and nonsense, like The Flash or some crap like that. Mm-hmm. And that's not what I've gotten so far. And I've been having a good time with this show until now. And I was watching this episode, and like it's funny because I was expecting like some Black Mirror type thing, like her, the thing is happening in the show, and you're watching it, and you're like, oh, this can't be real. It's got to be fake. It's got to be like some kind of a trick. There's gonna be some witch in the background going, and the Scooby Gang is gonna take him out or whatever, and it's all gonna be fixed.
I came into the watch party a little late last night, and it was the most quiet the watch party has ever been.
Yeah,
and all I hear is her crying in the background, and you going, "Fuck you! This is really taking me out of this series."
I was on mute.
I hate this.
The crying you heard was Alex.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus. And then nobody else in the watch party was there. It was just stone silence.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it was over, bloop, everybody was gone.
Yeah. And then,
like,
and then we all went, okay, well,
and
bye.
I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, God damn it, Jude just cost us like 12 patrons with this sad shit. So
I did try to question Jude about her selection of this
how
episode.
dare you, sir?
That was her response.
You cannot do that.
Yes.
You cannot do that.
She was like, look, it's my month. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Exactly. I love how Kadish is like, you guys, I did try.
But you know what? He did it to me too.
I know.
He took my whole fucking month. Not just one episode, my whole month.
He's still salty about that.
Oh,
Don't bring up the bad memories.
But yeah, it's okay.
Oh, man. Anyway.
We're going to talk about his month every week for the rest of our lives until he gets another month.
You couldn't have April, bro.
No,
just take it.
I know we're talking about you right now, but I want to talk about me.
Talking about Sequest DSV all month.
So, Jude, you got to tell me, why did you pick this episode?
Okay. So I knew that you had never watched any of Buffy, and I knew what you thought it was. And I wanted to give you a handful of episodes that would surprise you and elicit some emotion other than an eye roll.
Okay.
And I feel like I was successful. I'm really sorry at the depth of emotion that you felt while you were watching this, but good for you. Also, this episode is a tough one, but it's an important one because, Buffy is this very powerful person, and she's a superhero, and she deals with every problem by fighting. Mm-hmm. And this is something that she can't fight. So it is, it's just a very surreal twist on what you think that this show is.
Yeah.
And there's like almost no monsters in it. It's all rooted in reality. Buffy's mom dies the same way Joss Whedon's mom died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I told you this when we were doing our watch party on saltynerdiscord.com. We do watch parties every Monday night, so come join us. We were talking last night a little bit about this, and I was like, oh, this is Jonathan Kent and Superman. Superman is this most powerful freaking alien being on the planet. He can literally save anybody. I mean, at one point in time, you think turned back time by flying around the planet, right? That happened. Do we
Yeah.
talk? Is it okay to talk about that?
It's 40 years old. Yeah, it's okay.
No, I'm just making fun of you. So like, here's this hugely powerful person like Buffy, who's very powerful for her in her universe, and there ain't shit you can do. Like sometimes things just freaking happen, and no matter how powerful you are, there's nothing you can do about it, and you just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I thought I can understand where you're coming from as far as like wanting to show the range of this character. And I think it's an important episode for sure.
And Sarah Michelle Gellar is just a phenomenal actor. She's amazing.
Yeah.
She shows an entire script worth of stuff with just a look on her face. She's just so fantastic.
Oh yeah, when that moment where Giles comes in and she's like, "You're not supposed to touch the body," and then when she realizes that she just called her mother a body, and she just breaks, and you see it in her face. I was very surprised at how, like, again, my expectations for this show was like the Flash CW campy teenage drama. That is not at all what I'm getting so far. So kudos to them because they kicked ass in this episode as far as the acting goes.
This episode won the Nebula Award for Best Script in the year that it came out. And I just want to let you know something that I found out this morning, which I thought was kind of cute. So this show that we're talking about was released February 27th, 2001. This will come out February 21st,
Oh, nice.
2022. So almost
On the anniversary.
21 years to the day. And Buffy's 21 years old in this episode.
Was that a coincidence or did you do that on purpose?
No, I just realized that this morning when
Oh,
I was
nice.
doing my notes for this.
Right on. So you have a black heart and you didn't like this episode?
I have a black heart. Yes. No, it's fine. It's a deep episode. Brings out a lot of emotions.
Yeah, it did.
We all deal with death, and we all are going to in the future, and it's just we all react differently to it. So going into the reaction of our group last night was interesting to me because it was very quiet.
Well,
I should apologize to that.
and the comments that we were getting were like, "Fuck Jude."
That's fair.
My best friend just died last week. Jesus Christ. You know, it was just it was a rough week.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm not really in an emotional place to, I just block stuff like this out generally. And then I pop later.
Well, I think a lot of the times when we're watching stuff, it's an escape.
Yeah.
And this is an episode where you fully put yourself into it because we've all experienced loss. And it's hard not to feel what this episode is feeling.
Yeah. All right, Kadish. Dump some salt on this. What's your issues with this episode?
All right. So first of all, just to put it into a little bit of context. So the cliffhanger of the previous episode was basically the start of this episode where Buffy comes home, finds Joyce dead, and she's like, "Mom, Mom, Mommy." And then it cuts to black. And so like, I can remember like when this came out, everyone like was kind of like, "Oh, Buffy's mom's dead. Okay, this is the episode where they deal with that." In addition to that, like I thought that this was an odd choice on Jude's part simply because like this episode has two major factors in it that play a big role in season 5, where if you're just kind of thrust into it, you don't know anything about what's going on. The first of which is that Buffy has a little sister now named Dawn, who basically just kind of came out of nowhere at the end of last season and is kind of the central feature of this season. And played by Michelle Trachtenberg. I've never liked Dawn, the character. I always felt like she was kind of shoehorned in for reasons. They just wanted to give Buffy like a, little sister or someone that she could like, kind of have to protect. And then the other one was Glory, which is the season's big bad. And basically, Glory, unlike the previous big bads that Buffy has fought, she's not a vampire. She's a goddess. Like she's literally the power of a god. And so like it's her biggest kind of like challenge yet. And Glory just kind of like sits out this episode after having threatened everyone Buffy cares about. And that's one of the reasons why Xander's kind of like, like Glory must have done this. And everyone's like, no, she just had a brain aneurysm. But thirdly, the character of Joyce has always been a non-factor in the Buffy show. Number one, she's like one of the worst mothers in the world. But number two, like we went through basically 4 seasons where she would just kind of show up occasionally and be like, oh, hey, Buffy, and then like fuck off. And like, I never really cared about her as a character because of that. Like, she was just like a non-entity in the show. Like, sometimes she'd show up and have like a part to play in an episode, but for the most part, she wasn't involved in her daughter's life. She was just kind of there. Like, she'd go to work and she'd pay the bills, and occasionally like vampires would attack her house and she'd be like, what was that? Oh well. And it was just like it was a character that I felt like didn't really matter. And so like when she died, I was just like, okay, doesn't matter.
God damn, dude.
Well, I mean,
I don't think he's wrong.
like
I'm filled with rage.
the emotion of the show comes from you imagining like your own mother in that situation and how you would react. But the thing about it is that during this time, like when this episode came out, there was like this big weird thing in Hollywood that was kind of started by Paul Anderson, not the stanky Anderson, but the good one.
There's a doppelganger Anderson?
Yeah, he did Boogie Nights and stuff like that. And there was this thing where like actors would just kind of like act like over the top, go rambling, act like, they were like in a daze or whatever. You see this a lot with Mark Wahlberg and Boogie Nights. And that was kind of like this weird habit in the early 90s, mid 90s of Hollywood, where like they were like, oh, look, it's acting because they're acting all like strange. And that had this in spades in this episode. And this was written and directed by Joss Whedon, just like the previous episode we watched, Hush. And I just felt like this isn't a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode. This is an after school special episode. And there were so many things about it that we spend so much time with Dawn being like, this guy called me a freak. And then like 5 minutes later, Buffy shows up. It's like, Mom's dead. And she's like, oh my God. So like, I feel like there was a lot of wasted time in this episode. And I also feel like the vampire at the end, like there are rules in Buffy the Vampire Slayer where like, when a vampire gets made, he has to be drained of blood, and then he has to drink the blood of the vampire that drained him. And usually that sire takes care of their minions instead of having them wind up in a morgue. And so like the vampire just kind of came out of nowhere because, heaven forbid we have a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode without slaying a vampire. So it felt like it was just kind of like thrust in there for no good reason. And the entire episode just felt very just out of place, because how many times has Buffy brought people back to life? Buffy gets brought back to life numerous times throughout the course of the
You're talking
season.
out of your ass right now, and I'm furious.
I know you are.
Take him to it then. You're the expert in Buffy.
Let's save it for the patrons.
This is just my take on the episode, and it's one of the reasons why this is one of my least favorite episodes of the series.
All right. Well, that's going to be the dynamic moving forward, guys. So
I can't wait.
If you want,
this is going to be awesome.
If you want access,
You got a drink?
I do. I have
All right,
tons
'cause
of drinks
I'm gonna
right
have
here,
to go drink.
right off camera.
Because I am non-confrontational, and
I know it's
I'm
hilarious.
feeling tension. It's really going to annoy me.
You might need to stay sober to hold me back.
So if you want the access to the rest of this episode, go to saltynerdclub.com, join the club membership. We do 4 podcasts exclusively for members only every single month. And it's a ton of fun. We break down this episode scene by scene. We talk about it. We kind of do a deep dive onto it and give our opinions. And we're going to have to stop a fight. So join us and you'll get to see that.
Next week, Alex and I are going to fight because I'm making him watch the musical episode.
Is that the finale that you're going to make me watch as a musical?
Yeah, but I'm going to come over and watch it with you. And I'll bring drinks.
Okay.
And I'll probably sing.
All right. Well, all right, guys. That's Monday nights for the live watch party. Vader, say goodbye to the people.
Bye, people.
Where can they find you on the socials?
You can find me at MattVader74 on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook.
Okay. Jude, where can they find you at?
You can find me at I am Jude Juju on Instagram and TikTok. And you can find us on Facebook at the Salty Nerd Podcast on Facebook.
All right. Kadish.
You can find me 6 feet underground because Jude's going to murder me in a couple minutes.
I don't have the energy to dig 6 feet.
So basically, you can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter. KadishBooks.com takes you to my Amazon page. And be sure to go to saltynerd.com/rate and leave us a 5-star rating on Apple iTunes, because we're trying to get up to 200 5-star ratings in order to get accredited as official movie reviewers for Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I think we're halfway there right now.
Yeah, and if we get accredited, that means that we can get early screenings and, press credentials and stuff like that. So it just helps us enhance our coverage of the different movies and TV shows.
Yeah, because y'all bitch about how long it takes us to get shit out. So help us get stuff out early.
Damn. All right, guys. Head over to Salty Nerd Discord, join the community, and hope you guys have a great day. Stay salty. Patrons, follow us.